back to my kitchen. This week I'm going to show you how to make these really spooky cauldron cupcakes. Okay, so the things that you're going to need in order to make your cupcakes is, first of all, I've baked some chocolate cupcakes and I've just baked them in these black cases, and I will put a link to the recipe in the description below. I've then got some black fondant. Now this is pre-coloured. I've got a piping bag and a piping nozzle, and this one just has a circle cut out at the end, and this is the 1R. I've then got some Halloween sprinkles. Now these are the spooky Halloween sprinkles by Happy Sprinkles, and inside the sprinkles are just perfect for Halloween. They have different colour sprinkles in yellows, purples, greens and blacks. We then also have bones, and we have eyeballs, pumpkins and witches' hats. So I thought these would be perfect for these cupcakes. I've got some of the grass green Happy Drip. So this is just to create little drips on our cauldrons. Now if you don't have this, you could also use some candy melts or chocolate and just colour them in green. I've got a round cookie cutter, and this one measures 3 inches across. I've also got these little purple domes. Now I'm going to be creating the cauldrons on these before I add them onto the cupcake. Now if you don't have these, you could also use a sphere silicone mold. So this is just one of the larger sphere molds, and it's around the same size as the top of a cupcake. I've got some edible glue, my craft knife, a Dresden tool and my rolling pin, and lastly I've got some green buttercream. To start, I'm going to make the shape of the cauldron. So I'm going to take that black fondant and I'm going to roll this out until it's around 3 millimeters in thickness. I'm then going to use my cookie cutter and just cut out a circle. Go around the edge, just pushing with my finger just to neaten that up slightly. I'm then going to come down around 2 centimeters and I'm going to take the top off of that circle. I'm going to use my finger just to push in on the center slightly, just to create a little curve. I can then bring in that foam dome and I'm just going to lay this over the top and flatten that down. Now I really like using these domes as it allows you to work on your cupcakes before adding them onto that buttercream. It also gives you the opportunity to work on them a little bit ahead of time. So you can just pop these to one side and just allow these to firm up for a few hours or even overnight. If you don't have any of these domes or the silicone mold, I will show you how you can work on them just straight onto the cupcake. Now if I bring in this one, this is actually one that I created yesterday. So this has just been left to firm up, and you can see that that really holds its shape. First of all, I'm going to take a small amount of that black and I just want to roll this into a thin sausage shape. Now one tip, if you ever struggle to roll out your fondant like this and get it the same thickness all the way down, you can use a fondant smoother. So all you have to do is just take that and roll it over the top, and it just really helps make that the same thickness all the way down. I'm then going to bring in my cupcake and just run some edible glue along that top edge. Just going to lay that along the top to create the top of the cauldron and just trim that off. Now I'm actually trimming it a few millimeters longer just so I can tuck that round, just to create a rounded edge. I'm then going to cut off 2 pieces that are around 1/2 centimeter each, and I've used the end so it's slightly rounded on the bottom. And I'm going to glue these onto the bottom of the cauldron just as little feet. I'm then going to fill my piping bag with my green buttercream. And if you've ever seen my channel before, you will know that I love to use a glass just to hold my piping bag still as I fill it with my buttercream. I'm then going to bring back in my cupcake, and this cauldron is going to sit on the top. So I'm going to turn that over. I'm just going to fill the inside and push it down. And I'm bringing it right to the bottom so that those little feet can just hang over the edge. Now, if you didn't have one of those domes, what you could do is just take some of your buttercream, and we're just going to create a little dome at the bottom. So I'm using my buttercream and an offset spatula, trying to smooth that off. Now don't worry too much about the top, as we will be filling that with some additional buttercream. You can then take the piece of fondant that you've cut, and you can see that this one is still nice and soft. I'm going to lay that over the top and just push down. So we're creating the same kind of shape as we did with those domes. And you can just smooth that out to get rid of any lumps or bumps. You can then go in and add on the little bit of detail along the top and also the feet. You just have to be a little bit more careful as it is still quite soft. But that is going to give you the same effect. So here we have the one where we used the dome, and here we have the one that I just added directly onto the cupcake. Now, before we add the contents of our cauldron, I'm gonna add a green drip down the side so it looks like some of that is spilling out. Now, for this, I'm gonna be using the grass green Happy Drip by Happy Sprinkles. And this is just a pre-colored drip. And it means that you can use it over and over again, and you're not wasting any chocolate or candy melts. So I'm just gonna pop this into the microwave. So you can see it's quite a vibrant green color. So I'm gonna pop it in for intervals of around 30 seconds, just until that has completely melted. You just want to make sure that you remove the cap before you pop it in the microwave. Now I'm going to take my cauldron, and you want to make sure that you tip it forward. You want to be holding it straight, as we want that drip to go straight down and not at the side. So I'm going to take that drip and just adding a really small amount to allow a few drops to drip down. I'm then going to take my cauldron and my buttercream, and I'm just going to do a little swirl at the top. I can then take my sprinkles, and I'm going to start just by adding those in before going in and just placing some by hand. Adding in some of those really nice larger chocolate balls. We've got some of the orange pumpkins. And they just look really great against the green. You can add in some more bones. And then we've got those little eyeballs. And we just have this super simple little Halloween cauldron. Now, Happy Sprinkles have so many Halloween sprinkles on their website. This one is called Creeping It Real, and this one also has some bats in there. So it doesn't have the eyeballs, but it has bats instead. So these would also work great to add into the cauldron. Now, I'm just creating another one of those cupcakes, and you just want to make sure that you're not bringing that dome up over the edge of the cupcake, as this really keeps that nice rounded shape. So I'll create another one with all of those really fun sprinkles, but we can also add in some of those bats. Now, I do have a 10% off code which you can use on the Happy Sprinkles website. All you have to do is enter HappyLins10 at the checkout, and I will put all the details in the description below. And this is just a really quick, fun way to create some Halloween cupcakes. I really hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial, and you might want to make some of these yourselves. If you have enjoyed the video, as always, please don't forget to hit that like button, as it really does help the channel. Also, I will leave a list of all the tools I've used throughout today's video in the description below, so you can find them there. So until next time, bye!